Last Christmas I started buying portable shortwave radios again after I played with my SONY ICF-SW7600GR once too often. This radio served me well since last century, but I tinkered inside with it, and in addition it fell off a table once too often with the external antenna plugged in, and the socket broke, and the medium wave antenna inside was disconnected, and I could no longer listen to the BBC on medium wave here in Auckland, New Zealand. For testing portable shortwave radios, most people use just a random length wire, but I'm a radio amateur, so I constructed for myself an off-center fed dipole. The advantage is that the coaxial cable that feeds it does not receive rubbish from computers and Wi-Fi installations, etc. on the way down. It's only the blue wires there that actually receive it. It can also be tested with the wire still rolled up, thanks to the balun that's in it. Amateur radio transmitter receivers allow cable with larger diameters to be used, and one of the plugs that they use is the PL259 shown in the top of the picture. But the portable receivers that I buy, if they do have an antenna socket, caters for a jack plug shown in the bottom of the picture. So I had to make my own leads for going into my antenna system. Some portable receivers don't have an antenna socket at all, so you have to use a crocodile clip connection to the telescopic antenna. Now, being a radio amateur doesn't mean that I don't make any mistakes. I just make bigger mistakes. Here is a PL259 shown big. Now, the smaller diameter cable that I have to use with a jack plug needs a reducer. But last century, when I became a radio amateur, the problem I ran into was that some of the reducers were too long for the plug that they were sold with. So when you screw it in completely, it'll go hard against the stop where the pin is. Last century, as a new radio amateur, I used lots of small diameter cable because it was cheap. But the reducers that I bought with the plugs are too long. When the cable is inserted, after the braid is folded back and soldered onto the reducer, it will short against the pin if the reducer is fully screwed into the plug. So now I have a number of those suspect jumper leads where I am recycling the plugs. Enough of that, now let's get to the new radios that I bought. I said the main incentive for starting to buy portable receivers again was the ability to listen to the BBC on medium wave here in Auckland.
Hello, Spanish journalist Miguel Ancho Morano in Madrid. Well, there's been much talk in this crisis, and indeed there, of the Spanish Constitution. So what exactly does it have to say on these...
So here is the BBC in Auckland, New Zealand, on the Digitech AR1733.
Under the current Constitution.
Catalonia has the largest degree of autonomy under the Spanish Constitution that it has ever.
Followed by the SONY SW7600GR.
Autonomy to the Catalan provinces in the times of the monarchy, in the beginning of the 20th century, the Commonwealth of Catalonia. But none of this experiment went as far as the actual process of self-government under the 1978 Constitution. To say more, under the 78 Constitution, Catalonia has been able to pass two statutes of autonomy. The first one in 1970.
followed by the Digitech AR1780, and there's a bit of a delay until the sound comes on.
Catalonia is right now enjoying the highest possible degree of autonomy within the Spanish Constitution, the highest degree of autonomy in its modern political history, among the highest degrees of autonomy in the entire European Union member states. But again, disagreement and conflict seems to be higher than ever.
Okay, so can you just spell that out for us? Obviously they've got their own part.
I can go through medium waves on all three of them in turn now. So here is the AR1733 again. The light comes on at each button press. Here's a selection of stations I put in.
Bouncing around in the 20s, for the past 3 to 4 years, has found like people, in fact, that would see in China.
The national program is not very strong.
With regard to availability of people anchored.
The BBC is a bit better.
These competences would fall under the control of authorities posed by the centralized.
Can't remember what all the stations are. I listened to only a very few of them.
Recounted all the votes from election day itself.
Yep.
So that we
1ZB, that one I do know.
check everything.
So, maybe the fear factor has eroded somewhat for Canterbury, and I think that their confidence in 101, surely you don't start giving negative vibes off to your own team.
The SONY ICF-SW7600GR has been discontinued for almost 20 years, but it is still regarded as one of the 10 best world band radios in that class. But being 20 years old, it has got some peculiarities. The light switch has to be turned on separately, and the original LED in it was extremely weak, so I followed up one of the modifications suggested to replace that LED, which I've done. And the LED goes off after a short time, which is not a biggie.
Violence for the sake of violence.
Now, I mean, what do we make of me?
Well, it basically works through the DNA.
And the national program, now they call it RNZ, Radio New Zealand. It's even weaker than the BBC.
5 attack on a man that was an Al-Qaeda associated attack, and that woman was put in.
This is really, really good. There's a restaurant in France that got so many.
That's not too strong either.
There's a 2007 का Toyota Rush. बहुत ही खूबसूरत blue color में 5-door ये गाड़ी आई 1500.
New Zealand's biggest retail sale on now at Harvey Norman, Idaho.
I thought, yeah, these guys will still come back. I wouldn't, but I thought that.
You thought it was over, I did.
Well,
At 9, as they preview all the sport that's happening around the world and here in.
There you go, all the medium wave stations on the SONY ICF-SW7600GR. It's the longest name and the most difficult to pronounce. Shortly after I bought the Sony from overseas, Amazon to be precise, JCar here in New Zealand, that sold me the AR1733, also brought out the AR1780. This one covers all the bands covered on the AR1733, which doesn't have single sideband, and the Sony 7600GR, which doesn't have the air band. To be frank, truthful and honest, if that one had come out before I got the Sony, I would not have bought the Sony anymore. Except for the delay after turning on, it does everything else better.
Of our culture and our country.
Yeah, and
My daughter, and then those bottles get divided up between countries.
Radio New Zealand, RNZ, as they are forced to pronounce it now. BBC again.
And almost another powerful all-back performance, and you'd imagine a win.
1ZB.
Cape Town has been a pretty happy hunting ground.
That used to be 1ZM.
The old mug has told yachting.org.nz he has no ambitions to
Free shopping के लिए मैं जाती हूँ सिर्फ Lotus supermarket.
Right, you know, you just got everything's a compromise, so it's never quite qualifying.
On AM, this set has got a selection of bandwidths, and might turn up the radio a bit,
The whole day's running.
so the effect is more noticeable.
And Kiwis in the race, and 4 of them are all in the top 10. So, you know, it's just awesome. But
4 kilohertz now.
It's always been a favourite this year to get pole, and I think
Audio bandwidth.
today he'll, I'm sure everything goes well.
3 kilohertz bandwidth.
But, you know, it's
2.5 kilohertz.
Wind Cup and
2 kilohertz.
and Umbrella were the favourite, but you know they qualified back in
1 kilohertz.
so they were out of the top 10. But look, at the end of the day,
1 kilohertz again. Back to 6 kilohertz.
The car goes away from your
On single side band it goes down to 500 hertz.
I think.
It also has the ability to turn on the light permanently.
Which will be there, and then you've got the
Other than that,
racing cars. So
it's like the AR1733.
ultimately,
Any button press
between them two,
gives you the light for a brief period. The Digitech AR1733 and AR1780 both have the air band. This lets me listen to the Auckland air traffic control.
active runway mode, normal operations, reserve flight guide for Jefferson flight taken. Expect ILS DME approach, runway 05, right 36.
The AR1733 does not have an antenna socket, so the crocodile clip is the only antenna connection that I can use. The AR1780 does have an antenna socket, but it's a bit more sensitive using the crocodile clip connection. Presumably there is an attenuator built into the set for the antenna socket.
1,800 feet broken, 2,500 feet temperature, 16, viewpoint 13, QNH 1020, reported 2,000 foot, wind 305 degrees, 22 knots. On first contact with Auckland Tower. Or
this is basically the weather forecast for the airport.
Information India.
With any luck, I can let you hear some actual air traffic. Of course, whenever you want them to, they don't talk. Both these radios have a squelch setting that can be adjusted by the listener. Squelch 5 from this set.
Visibility 25 kilometers, cloud, depth 1,800 feet.
On this set, the squelch is activated by this button, and then it's the up-down control on the side that lets you set the squelch level. I have edited out some of the gaps. The button placement is different. On the AR1733 you just have 2 bandwidth settings on AM. On the AR1780 you have up to 6 different bandwidth settings. There are different settings for single sideband and ordinary AM. Just reminding you, the 1733 does not have single sideband, and that was the incentive for getting the AR1780.
132NH 1020, reported 2,000 foot, wind 305 degrees 22 knots. On first contact with Auckland Tower or approach, notify receipt of India. Active runway mode, normal operations, reserve flight guide or jettison flight pages. Expect ILS DME approach, runway 05, right, runway conditions dry, surface wind 360 degrees, 10 knots. Visibility 25 kilometers, cloud, surface 1,800 feet, broken 2,500 feet, temperature 16 Newton. H1020, reported 2,000 foot, wind 305 degrees 22 knots. On first contact with
just 2 bandwidths on this one.
notify receipt of India.
For the aircraft band you don't really need the wider setting.
00, active runway mode, normal operations, reserve flight guide or jettison flight pages. Expect ILS DME.
So much for the air band on both of these sets.
Right, runway conditions dry, surface wind 360 degrees, 10 knots, visibility 25 kilometers, cloud, scattered 1,800 feet, broken 2,500 feet, temperature 16, dew point 13, QNH 1020, reported 2,000 foot, wind 305 degrees 22 knots. On first contact with Auckland Tower or approach, notify receipt of India.
Both the SONY ICF-SW7600GR and the Digitech AR1780 can receive single sideband, which is used for weather facts. But first I do a test reception. This is my Kenwood TS570S transceiver, which allows me to transmit also. You can hear some electronic device triggering in the background, but the WeatherFax program does not respond to it, so we just get the backlines and the white background. That's it, that rasping sound has turned off the scanning of my program. I have now set up the SONY ICF-SW7600GR for the original reception frequency, which will be the broadcast following the one that I did the control reception for.